Let's talk about top strategies to stop leaking with coughing, sneezing, even laughing. These are so easy and simple to use, even though they do take a little bit of intentionality and training. I promise you that if you start to incorporate these into your day-to-day life, you really should be noticing a positive improvement in your symptoms with coughing and sneezing in particular. That would be urinary leakage, incontinence with these things. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is called the Knack. So what is the Knack? It is simply a pre-activation, a pre-contraction. So in other words, a squeeze or a contraction of the pelvic floor muscles prior to a sneeze, a cough, or even laughing. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to specifically focus on sneezing and coughing. So let's say that you're going about your day and you're like, oh boy, I feel a sneeze coming on. So you're doing that typical, right? So you are really going to think about, I'm going to squeeze and engage firmly through my pelvic floor right before the sneeze comes on. And the goal is to be able to maintain the squeeze throughout the length of that cough or that sneeze. Now, I will say, oftentimes you may find that perhaps your pelvic floor doesn't quite have the endurance or the timing or the coordination to get it exactly right on time, or maybe to last throughout the cough or the sneeze, especially if there's multiple coughs or multiple sneezes in a row, but it will get better with this intentional training. Throughout everyone that we've worked with and have integrated these techniques into their life, we've always seen improvement with this. So don't be discouraged at first. If these techniques seem a little bit challenging, they will get easier with time. So the first one is the Knack. So that is simply you are standing or sitting or laying down, whatever it is, you're going to intentionally squeeze. And a way to think about that, I've got my pelvic floor model here. A way to think about that, you can think of a back to front squeeze and a lift. So in the inside of your pelvic floor muscles, you're really thinking about, can I cinch off? Can I squeeze my anus? Really, you can think of it that way. Can I squeeze my vaginal opening? And you can just visualize where your urethra lives, which is right on top of the vaginal opening, right above, I should say. And you're gonna think about cinching all those openings closed and lifting them up. So squeeze and lift is what we're aiming for, and that is the Knack. And so this can really help to significantly minimize leakage, if not completely eliminate it altogether. The second top strategy for coughing and sneezing is to think about posture. So oftentimes, I think we're all guilty of this, with coughing and sneezing, we do the classic ha-choo, right? So we're bending over at the waist, we're crunching down, or we're coughing and we're hacking away, right? And we're just like, everything is bending forward. So what you want to think about with this is that the bladder is an organ inside of our body that holds urine, right? It holds liquid. So that bladder is going to be susceptible to any forces that are coming down on top of it. And so if you think, I like to visualize this with an accordion. So if you imagine an accordion that's being kind of stretched open from both ends, and then if you were to take that accordion and kind of fold it on top of each other, it would make a really loud and obnoxious sound, right? And you would hear all the air coming out, and you would know all that pressure is coming down on the accordion. So it's kind of the same visual here with your body. So a really big thing I would love for you to think about is think about lengthening through the crown of your head, to the top of your head. Imagine a string pulling you up, and really think about opening up through your chest. Cough and sneeze, cough or sneeze, up. So lengthen, cough. You're gonna do the Knack right before. You're gonna think about your posture while you're holding onto that squeeze, and then you're gonna let it all go at the end. So that is the second top strategy for coughing and sneezing. Last but not least, third strategy is something that is called leak and three-peat. And so what does this mean? This means, let's say that you did these strategies and you're like, ah, darn it, I still leaked a little bit with that. That's okay. It's going to take a little bit of time. Oftentimes therapeutic exercise, different muscular retraining. All of these things combined are really, really going to help you and your body to get over this incontinence and to not have to worry about it anymore for the future. But one thing that we can do to start to retrain our brains and our bodies together is to say, okay, let's say that you did leak a little bit with the coughing or sneezing. Even if you did do these first two techniques, the Knack, and you were really aware of your posture, it's okay. What you're gonna do then afterwards is take a moment. You're going to intentionally squeeze back again. So think about the Knack, that pre-contraction. Squeeze through your pelvic floor, contract through your pelvic floor muscles. Give a fake cough. It's hard to do this with a sneeze, obviously, because most of us can't sneeze on demand. So a fake cough typically works best with this. And then you're gonna practice all those things together. So you're gonna squeeze, lengthen up, fake cough, and then let it all go. And you're gonna practice this about 2 to 3 times right after. What this does starts to retrain your brain. It really helps on the coordination, the timing of your pelvic floor musculature, so that you do not have to continue to experience life with leakage every single time you cough or you sneeze. Those are the top and favorite strategies for coughing, simple strategies for coughing and sneezing. That would be leakage with those things and how to overcome them.